What up? What up, everybody? Welcome to the Grid and Grind Show. Happy Wednesday, hump day for everybody. Hopefully, everybody's ready to get over the hump and get into the weekend. I know there's a lot of spring break going on now, maybe next week or maybe the week after, but the sun is out, it's heating up, and so we got to talk more Grid League action. We got Sydney Pawlak of the New York Wolves. She's stopping by. She's going to talk to us all things New York Wolves, rookie season, expectations, the whole nine. So before we bring her on, obviously, the show is brought to you by the Mental Game Performance Coaching, Chinook Seeds, Jesus One Apparel, and Old Dominic Distillery. Telling you, all the sponsors, can't go wrong with any of them. Go to the website, inoffthebench.com. You can get promo codes for all four of those sponsors, and I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed with any of them. And with that, the bills have been paid. The lights can be turned on, and I cannot have any more technical difficulties because we're good to go. But with that, help me welcome to the show, Sydney Pawlak. Sydney, what is up?
Hi, I'm excited to be on here today.
Well, we are excited to have you, and I apologize. It's we are 1 minute. We were, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes late, and I had a lot of technical issues from 6 p.m. EST to now. It's been a battle, but I won. I didn't give up, and so I think that grid athletes can appreciate that.
Yeah.
We got some folks in the comments already showing love. Kim says hello. Kim says Sydney. Mike Rosa. Sid with some hearts. Oh, appreciate the love, Mike. Appreciate you, brother. And the Jen Powers back on track. Hello. Well, Sydney, let's talk. Obviously, science teacher. Is that still the case? Still teaching science these days?
Yep. Yes.
Look,
Sixth grade.
I'm an assistant principal, so I can feel you. When I talk spring break, I'm sure that it's on the back of your mind. Are you guys in spring break or spring break's coming up? What's going on?
So the way schools up here normally do it is we have a week off at the end of February, and then we'll have another week off like end of April. So March is a stretch. We're in school.
Wow, that's like our April. Our April is long, and patience runs thin. So I feel you. But obviously, science teacher by day, New York Wolves by night. Overall badass. How do you balance it all? Or is there a balance? Is it just adding to a little bit of the fitness life that you had, maybe changing some things, or is it really like I got to plan my days and everything out because of this new season that I've added?
It's been a very smooth transition into implementing more of the grid style training. I still pretty much take class at my CrossFit gym, CrossFit 401 in Smithfield, Rhode Island. I pretty much take class every day still. Now that it's getting closer to the season, I've started to change a couple things up. So, if class is doing today, we had handstand push-ups. Sometimes I'll throw in some freestanding handstand push-ups. So I like to still be involved in my CrossFit community and be with the members. So I'll add some things in here and there, but it's been pretty easy to just sprinkle in some grid training into what I've already been doing.
Right. So let's talk CrossFit for a second. I mean, are we doing the open? Is that
participating
in the books and the cards?
I'm participating. Again, just to do it with our members. It's programmed in class. So I do the workout and, not pursuing the CrossFit season this year, focusing on grid, but still participating in the open for fun.
Fair enough. I mean, obviously, if you go to the gym, it's hard not to get sucked into it. And are you guys still buried under snow? The last time I saw Rhode Island or even heard about Rhode Island is there was like 6,000 inches of snow. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, there's a lot of snow. I think the totals were like over 40 inches in some places here from that last blizzard we had. And there's so much of it that I've said, I was like, there will probably be snow on the ground until June because it's piled up so high in some places that It's not. We had a couple like warm days this week, so some of it melted, but there's still plenty of snow on the ground.
Man, it's it just like this week in Tampa, it like broke in the 80s and like people are like, "Oh my god, it's so hot." And I'm just like, "Stop it." Like I feel like in Tampa it's been cold, much colder this winter. I could be wrong. It might just be me getting old, but I feel like it's been colder longer this year.
So
So
what is your
I'm
definition of
anticipating
cold?
some more. Oh, I mean, I hate to even say it to you, like 50s, 50 like I'm a early morning workout person, so getting in the garage in the 50s is cold to me.
So
So,
this week we hit the 50s, and I think we had a little bit into the 60s for the first time. And like all the garage doors are open, people are in t-shirts and shorts. Like we went out like and we're hanging out, by the lake. Like it was as if it was summer here. People were so excited for it to be in the 50s.
yeah, I grew up in Tennessee, and so in Memphis, like, it got cold and, like, sometimes it snowed, sometimes it had ice events, but it was cold in the winter, but I have really become pretty weak these days when it comes to cold weather now that I lived here for as long as I have. But you didn't come here to talk about weather. You came here to talk about grid. So let's get into that. I want to talk about your fitness journey. Everyone who is in a CrossFit gym or in the CrossFit or fitness space, there's always this story. So like for you, were you an athlete growing up and that's how you found fitness, or was this you walked into a CrossFit gym one day and you were like, "Oh, my life is changing now."
Well, I guess a little bit of both of those. So I was a competitive gymnast growing up, which is
Nice.
ironic because that's probably the worst possible sport to be very tall in. So I was a very tall gymnast, but I loved it, and I did that competitively all through my childhood and through high school. And then my senior year of high school was 2020 when COVID hit. So
Wow.
that ended, gymnastics for me. The season was over and I wasn't pursuing it in college. So I needed, like most people during the lockdown, and coming from such a competitive sports background, I needed something. I needed, something to channel that competitive edge towards. So I had heard of CrossFit and there was a gym nearby where I lived. So I tried a class, and actually my first class it was still lockdown-ish, so we were at, like, a soccer field, and everyone, was 6 feet apart, and it was, like, bear crawls and body weight stuff only, and then as the
Yeah.
restrictions lifted, we were able to do more stuff, and, I fell in love with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've feeling this sentiment right here. Like, yes, like I realize how young you are, Sydney, when you said your senior year and then talking about COVID. That is wild. And now here you are, 6 years later, you're a professional athlete in the United Grid League. I mean, that's saying something. I mean, that should make you feel good. You should be, happy and proud of that because that's something not everybody can say. Um, but you did mention gymnastics. I would be remiss if I didn't say that part of the In Off the Bench podcast network, we have a gymnastics show. So we cover a lot of college gymnastics. So
Yep.
if you are into gymnastics and you do follow Sydney, then check out some of our stuff. Got some of the elite gymnasts in the country on the show. Good interviews, good gymnastics talk, good insight. You won't miss anything. I'm telling you, check it out. But for you, you get into this CrossFit gym, you get into this space. Like, how does United Grid League become on your radar, or does it not? And somebody says, "I seen her, like I need her,"
So I
aka Sam.
Yeah, so through CrossFit, I had met Sam by doing his Fight for the Fittest competitions, and I was pretty young. It was one of my first individual comps I had ever done was a Fight for the Fittest comp, and Sam met me then, and we stayed in touch, and he was kind of following my journey, and I kept doing his comps. And somewhere along that path, I had seen Grid League on Instagram and watched a few matches here and there. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But it was always something with the teams being so far away. I was like, I'm young, I'm a new teacher. At one point I was a college kid. Like, it just wasn't feasible to even look into
Right.
if I was capable to make it onto a team. But the second I saw something on Instagram about the New York Wolves, I didn't even know anything. I didn't need to know anything. I was like, I'm in. I'm in. And then I found out Sam was involved, and I was like, oh yeah, definitely in. So Sam and I had touched base, and um, we, I joined the team, and that's how I got into it.
I mean, I was one of the questions I had written down was to ask you, like, was this a difficult decision? But it seems like it was pretty easy. Like, you knew the Wolves and like bam, like you're in.
Yes.
So now once you're in, and so as you know, the the schedule's getting ready to be released, we know the cities, and we'll touch on that a little bit in a little bit, but the schedule will be released, and we're getting very close to the season, really, like, practices amping up and like the season being here. um, what has the learning curve for you been so far? I mean, obviously, with the gymnastics background, there's a high level gymnastic skills that are in grid, but I see you lifting barbells. I see you doing different things. Like, I don't think you're just a gymnast. I think on the grid, you're probably going to peg to be a utility person that can do a lot of different things. So, what has the learning curve been for you?
Yeah, so the learning curve has definitely been finding the difference between, okay, like, cool, these are the skills you're going to do, versus now, like the last few months, and what will continue to be our task for moving forward is, okay, now we can do it, but we need to do this at grid speed. It's very different than CrossFit speed or other, sports I've done in the past. It's just a whole different drive to be in that mode of full sprint. And what's been challenging for me that I've been working on is taking those chances. So you kind of learn in CrossFit to pace yourself and not come out too hot. But this has been different of
Right.
like in training, like you got to push yourself and kind of see like, okay, I was able to go full sprint for this long until the wheels fell off. So learning that has been a fun experience for me, kind of pushing the boundaries and figuring out in training what I'm capable of, what I'm not, to be able to find that. The other thing that as a team we've been working on a lot is the transitions and other subtleties to Grid League that, you know, as a new team to the league, it doesn't matter how great we all are as individual athletes. If we can't work together as a team, our individual fitness is not relevant.
Right. Do you think you've found grid speed, or do you still think you have to go through a match to really understand it?
Definitely we'll have to go through a match to feel it. The adrenaline, I'm sure will add a whole nother level, but we've done like mock matches at our practices. And even that is like a different atmosphere than training by myself. I am lucky enough to have another member on the Wolves team that is actually the owner of my gym, Ray Fleeser. So I get to train with him, but it's still not the same as being with the whole team and being able to do that. Our coach Lexi, her go-to phrase is faster, gotta be faster. So which I love,
Yeah.
because I never want to settle for good enough. Like, it can always be faster, it can always be stronger, it can always be better. So I'm really lucky that we've
Yeah.
had a whole group of people where we're all in the same mindset. Like, it is not good enough. It can be faster, because there's so much talent in this league. if you watch any matches, like these athletes are insane, and they've been doing it, a lot of them, for several years. So they know the feeling of being out on that grid. So, we're doing our
Yeah,
best to
it's
simulate that.
yeah, it's crazy because after covering it, you see that the athletes that have been there for years, somehow, when you think they can't do it any faster, they figure out how to do it faster. It's unreal. Um, you got your boy Sam. He said we're the first call. Shout out to Sam. He said best amazing athlete, even better person and friend. You got Fritz, he's giving you some love too. The whole New York Wolves team. Shout out to them. I'm excited to meet everybody in person and really, see you guys in action. And I know you guys are chomping at the bit to get out there on the grid. Just one to see everything play out. But I think there's got to be a level of like not anxiety, but like let's just
Anticipation.
do this already.
Yes.
Like, right. You just want to understand what you don't really know. And it's not that you don't know the movements and the elements, but like the speed, like the transition. How are these things going to come into play in the actual match when there's another team on the other side?
Absolutely.
So far, when you're going to practice, obviously you got Lexi who's got experience, you got Mike Rosa who's got some experience. But for the most part, you're looking at a lot of rookies. And outside of just being rookies, the growth in the practices that you guys have had, what do you guys look like so far? If you had to grade the team A, B, C, you're a science teacher, A, B, C, D, F, like where are you guys currently?
Um, that's tough. So I will say, before I give my grade, I like to give some feedback. I we have the difference between we've had 2 practices so far, we have a third this weekend. The difference between our first and second practice was astronomical. We
Right.
we came to the first practice, and we were kind of all getting our footing, and like I said, we all knew of grid, and we had done some things individually, but coming together as a team is a whole nother aspect of this sport, a very big aspect of it. So after that first practice, I think everyone went into their training having that team mentality more in mind. Like, hey, when we're practicing in our home gyms, a partner forward, I'm not just doing whatever I have to do and standing there. Okay. We are practicing transitioning in and transitioning out. So everybody on the team, we put a lot more of that intention in our training, and that made a huge difference at the second practice. So far, I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty tough critic. I would say maybe we're at like a a C. Um, I think we're making progress, but we have a very long way to go. We're doing all the right things, but like I said, it takes time, and there's so much talent in this league that um, I think we got to stay hungry.
Yep, definitely. Your coach chimes in. Lexi said, "That's my girl. That's my girl. Get it." So, obviously, I mean, that's a fair assessment. I mean, it's early still. There's a few practices. Well, not a few. You got your third this weekend, but you'll have a few practices by the end of the weekend, and like that doesn't give you years of experience like some of these teams have. And like you'll see, and if you haven't seen already, like there is a cohesiveness that you have to have. There is this level of I know what you're thinking that you have to have. But I mean, the big thing is you guys are out there, you guys are practicing and you're working towards that. And Lexi says this weekend is gonna be an A. A. No excuses. She said y'all are gonna bring it this weekend. But let's talk about the schedule. All right. We don't know the actual dates, but we do know the locations. You're going to South Beach, returning to South Beach to start the season. You got Lakeland, which is right outside of in Tampa's backyard. You've got New York, which when I had Sam on a few weeks back, we talked about a big goal of his was to be able to have this in New York. And so now, boom, it's there. It's set in stone. There will be grid in New York, which, we'll get to that, but Dallas as well. What does it mean for the Wolves to be able to host a grid match, and not necessarily host, but they get to represent grid in the city that is on, the front of the jersey? That's got to mean something.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be very helpful towards the whole league because, you know, there were however long ago it was the Florida Grid League, and now it's expanded, and there's Atlanta, and we have Vegas now. But being the New York Wolves and the first, New England based team, that opens up a whole plethora of communities that are now being involved in Grid League and hearing about Grid League. Everybody on the team are, our families, our friends, our gym communities. So the fact that we now have a team up here, I think that's awesome for the league and getting more people to be involved and see how awesome this sport is. And now add the fact that we're having a matchup here. It's going to be amazing, and it's going to be great to get the local communities involved. And we've been doing stuff too as the New York Wolves. We're throwing a pack throwdown next month and getting the Long Island community involved. And it's going to be incredible to just add a whole nother group of people to be able to be involved in this sport.
Yeah, it's led way to really opening doors. I mean, now, and I'll get your take on this. You're no longer the new guy on the block. There's another team that is now the new guy on the block, the Carolina Flight. Shout out to Cody Leffler. I got him coming on in a couple weeks to talk about how that all went down. But for you, what are some personal goals and expectations for the season? Not necessarily, you can take winning a championship out of it, but for you in a rookie season, what are your goals? Or have you even thought too much about what you expect yourself to be able to accomplish this season?
Yeah. So the way I've always looked at goals is you can't base your goals off something that's out of your control. So us as the New York Wolves, we cannot control the other teams on that grid. Like we've mentioned, they're talented, they have experience. We can control our team and the effort we put into our training. So I'm not specifically looking for, a certain record out of the season, or, obviously we'd love a championship, but that is not how I would necessarily define success. But I would like to see us work collaboratively as a team and improve across all the matches, because like we mentioned, there's no matter how hard you try, you can't get that feeling of being on the grid until you're actually out there. So I'm looking forward to seeing the growth between our first match and then our later matches, and just see as a team how we can improve.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the schedule, what the matchups are when whoever that opponent is in that third week, of the season in New York. Like, there's going to be some extra fire. Obviously, it has to be. And whoever that is on the other side, like, I feel like no matter who it is, it's going to be a battle for them just for that reason. But it is getting better every week, and I've had coaches on, and they'll tell me, I just try to make sure, obviously there's another team on the other side of the grid. And much like you said, we can't worry about, it's almost, we go out there and we do our thing regardless of who's on the other side and whatever they're doing. All right. We're going out there with the mentality we need to be perfect and as fast as we can possibly be. Whatever happens on the other side happens. And I can hear that when you say, we got to focus on us. We got to worry about us. We can't control those types of things. But if the Wolves win a championship, or let's say they're in the mix or, have a chance in the playoffs to make a run for a championship, what would you say is the number one reason why?
The number one reason would definitely be our team camaraderie and this relationship that even only, we really only met all of us for the first time in December, and we already have such a strong understanding and drive to be our best selves, not only for ourselves but for each other. So that adds a whole nother element that I have really liked to see because I've always been someone who's done individual sports. This is really the first time I've been on a team. And the mentality behind, okay, not only am I, on tough training days or you're in the middle of a mock match or whatever it is we're doing, having that mentality in your head of, okay, I'm not only doing this for me, but I have a whole team of people who they're all busting their butts, they're trying hard, and they're relying on me. So that adds another element, and we have that. We may not have the experience, but we do have that passion and the willingness to be committed not only for ourselves, but for each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a blast. And I hope that when wherever you guys end up, you look back on it and go, two things. One, this was so worth it. And two, I can't wait to do it again because I love this sport. And I think it's something that truly like can really, really thrive. And the more people that get into it, the more people that love it, the better it's gonna be. So um Jen says it's a true pack. The wolves are rising, and I always like Jen always has like good things to say, like a good way to say it. So I feel this. The wolves are rising, so I can't wait to see that. Um, what is something I'll wrap up with this is what is something that you're looking forward to in grid, maybe element or just a certain thing, and then what's something that you are not looking forward to?
Oh, being a utility player, I like the fact that I get to do and try a lot of different things. So we've looked at some different test formats, some match formats, and I get to try a lot of things. So not being a strength specialist or a body weight specialist, I think it's cool, Lexi's job, because she kinda gets to take everyone and what they can do and piece it all together to p make us the best team we can. So, the nice thing is, like, what I do in the matches that we've done so far, it varies because, sometimes based on what's
Right.
programmed, like, I'm needed for something else, and sometimes, I'm doing a strength thing, or sometimes I'm doing something gymnastics. So, the fact that I have a decently wide skill set, keeps it really fun and interesting for me. Oh, what I'm not looking forward to? Um, I've asked that I please not be put on the rings. Please do not. I don't want anything to do with the rings. That's my one rule.
That's it seems strange from an ex gymnast to go, I don't want anything to do with the rings.
Okay,
I
so to
feel
clarify
like
though,
that's
you know this,
I
women
feel
in
like I
gymnastics,
do
we
feel
don't
like
use
that's
fingers.
like true, true, true. But I do feel like there's a level of gamemanship that's going on. I'm gonna tell people I don't want anything to do with the rings because believe it or not, I am fantastic at all elements on the rings.
Oh, no, that
So
I'm don't
maybe it's a
trust me.
surprise. I don't know.
No, I have a really bad poker face and I'm a terrible liar, so I genuinely I don't think you will see me up on those rings once this season.
Well, either way, Lexi says you're built for grid. No matter what you do, you're built for grid. So I have a feeling we're going to see you doing a lot of utility stuff. Yes. And we're going to see you doing a lot of different elements. What those elements are, we're going to hold that close to the vest, and people will just have to wait till South Beach, till Miami, and they'll have to just see what Sydney is all about. Sydney, I'm going to let you run. Anything you want to plug or promote before you get out of here?
Yeah, thank you to especially Wolf Back on Track has been absolutely incredible, supporting all of us individual athletes all throughout this journey. Thank you to all our sponsors. We're so grateful. And especially all our communities and the people that support me and everyone on the team. We've been so grateful. All the people that are willing to support us and have been. We just put out some T-shirts that people have been buying, and or just in the gym, like wishing me well. I think we're going to have a lot of new fans of the sport of the Grid League. So I'm very grateful for all the people in my circle. And our sponsors that have been absolutely incredible in supporting us throughout this journey.
Absolutely. It's going to be a blast. And I mean, need I say, I'm assuming maybe a couple months away, and it'll be here. So Sydney, I wish you the best of luck. If there's anything I can do for you along the way, please reach out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. That is Sydney Pawlak, utility player for the New York Wolves. If you like hearing Sydney's story, or you just like hearing average Joe's talk X's and O's, share the podcast on Facebook. That's first. Second, go to YouTube, subscribe, hit notifications. That way you're first to know when new content is dropped. We'll be back. Spring break next week. I know everybody, you're craving for more episodes. They're coming. I know I disclosed some information from a personal standpoint. I'll give an update. My mom went through a successful lung transplant, still in the hospital, but we have a lot to be thankful for and a lot to be blessed about. So prayers, thoughts, hugs, hearts, love, continue those things. We really appreciate it. And I will get to a point where I personally thank everybody that's reached out to us for that. But things are going well. Going to take next week off. We'll be back on the 25th. Got Cody Leffler, owner of the Carolina Flight. He's got a lot to disclose. He's got a lot to talk about. A lot of players are coming our way for the flight. Got to figure out how that all came to be, who's next to be on the roster, and what their expectations are. But I appreciate everybody. Love y'all. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We're out.